I always collected records, even when I was a kid. So through college, I worked at a record store. So like 4 or 5 years of working there. Like I graduated college with a criminal justice degree, and I was like, I kind of was like, I think I could open up my own shop, and I kind of just took a gamble and did it, you know. And like honestly, when I first did it, I used a small loan and my own collection of stuff, and that was it. That's how I opened. I do it like by condition and title. So, you know, you guys saw me looking through all these records just now. It's just like I'm looking at condition, see if they're scratch, they're good condition, they're, you know, and how common they are. Right? So that's it. That's what I look for. Common records, and you know, and non, you know, see how rare it is to me, what I have in the store, what I know sells. That's how I do it. I think it's because it's new again. Like younger people, like maybe even your age. I don't know how old you guys are, but like you didn't grow up with records, right? Or did you? Did you grow up with vinyl? Probably not, right? So it's all kind of like new, you know. So I always say like what's old is new again, and like people are like drawn to it because they never experienced it, that kind of thing. Now I'm seeing it with CDs again, which is weird. Like kids come in, they don't even know they never listen to CDs, so now they're buying CDs again. You know, it's like circle. Oh yeah, definitely, man. I look at it this way, bro. It's like, you know, if you love what you do, you don't even work a day in your life. You know what I mean? If you love it, it's not working. That's it. It's how I live. It's tough, man, because I see stuff all the time where I'm like, oh, I think I might need that one. Put it in my own spot. But like, it's hard, you know, but I put a lot of stuff. I sell, you know, 90% of everything I sell. You know, I don't think there's many setbacks. I mean, records, it's just like if you move, you gotta move a lot of records, so they're heavy. Yeah, just come in and, you know, look around, talk to us. We're more than willing to help. You know, like if you go to a good store, people are gonna help you. And like, you know, I used to hate going to stores where they judge you for what you buy, whatever. And I made sure, like when I opened this shop, I told everybody like that's not how we are, you know. Like we like all kinds of music, no matter what it is. You know, I don't look down at anybody for buying it. Whatever they love, that's cool with me, you know. Like, you know, just buy what you like, you know. Take chances sometimes. That's what I did too when I was coming up. We didn't have the opportunity to listen to everything beforehand, you know. We like looked at covers and we're like, yeah, that's dope, I'm gonna buy that, you know. Like sometimes you gotta do that, you know. It's the only advice I have, just buy what you like, you know.
We opened August 12th, 2022, which coincidentally winds up being National Vinyl Record Day. Okay. That wasn't on purpose, but kind of a cool accident. Yeah. What made me decide to open the shop? I've been doing construction all my life. I still do part-time, but I just wanted to change. And some things happened in our family, and I inherited some stuff, and got a little overwhelmed, so I decided that this would help move some of that stuff that I inherited. And I've been a musician my whole life, so this is just to share my experience with music and try and get people turned on and back into analog music, you know, the joy of putting a record, you know, holding a physical, tangible piece of music. When I was a kid, I was always excited by that, and it's cool when I see younger kids come in here and they're like, you know, they look at that album and they're like, this is awesome. You know, I remember that when I was a kid, going into record stores. That was my thing. That was what I did every weekend. I went to Alwick Records in the Morris County Mall and spent my paycheck on records.
Just like her.
You know, I couldn't wait to go to the record store and see what titles were coming out, you know. And a lot of times I'd buy a record, I'd look at the artwork and be like, don't know who they are, but cool. Throw it in the bag. Yeah. You know, so I think it's just that excitement and the passion for music my whole life. I've been around it. I've been a musician my whole life. My dad was a musician, so I've grown up around it, and it was really to share my love of music with people. And I think COVID screwed with a lot of people's heads and their normal day life, and I think it did some good. COVID, I think it forced people to slow down and get back into, hey, let's put a record on. You know, it forced people to reevaluate their life, and at me as well. But I think that was a big inspiration for me. I was like, I need a change. So that was why we decided to open the store. It was a no-brainer. I love working with my hands, you know, but I've been doing construction my whole life, and it beats you up. So I wanted a little bit of a change, and I said, well, if I can't, you know, enjoy going to a music shop every day, I don't know what else I would enjoy.
So did your experience of construction sort of give you like the ability to build a lot of the stuff around here?
Yes, actually, I built all the racks in the store. I built the arcade. I built custom guitars. I built a turntable and speakers. So yeah, that's definitely been a help, and I think that sets us apart from some other record stores because a lot of the stuff in here is handmade.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of that for sure. You know, it's just something different. Anyone can sell any set of speakers, but not speakers that look like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, this is the first place I've been into is
So
handmade.
I like having, you know, a little bit of one of a kind element in our store. I think that helps our vibe. You know, separates us a little bit because we're not, you know, we don't have the greatest selection. We're not huge. We're not the Walmart of record stores, but I think you know, with some of the unique and one of a kind stuff, it helps our vibe a little bit. That's a tough question. That's a really tough question. I guess it depends on how you would define impact. Well, the first record I ever bought was Kiss Alive 2. That's a gatefold, and when you open it up, it was a picture of them in concert with, you know, flames 50 feet high, and Gene Simmons with his friggin' boots and his makeup and glove shooting flames, and I was like, what am I looking at? I was a kid. I was like, what am I looking at here? And that kind of sparked me wanting to, I mean, you know, other than being around music since I was a baby with my dad, but that kind of gave me that jump start to want to start to play music because I saw that and I was like, what? And, you know, it looked like a circus, but pretty much Kiss was a circus but played music.
Yeah.
I mean, that had the most impact on me because I think that was the record that really made me pursue playing music. But I mean, there's been records, you know, it depends on what kind of impact you're talking about. There's been records that have saved my life, you know. Depends on my mood. I think we all have records that touch a certain part of our life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs and or full records that you remember, put you in a headspace of maybe good times, maybe bad times, you know, and that's why I've always loved music, because it takes you places that you don't have to go anywhere other than your record player to go somewhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Well, the first thing we do is, you know, I go out and try to find the best I can, but used records are a little bit of a crapshoot. Sometimes you get good, sometimes you get great, sometimes you get junk. First thing we have to do is sort through them, figure out what is, you know, sellable. Some stuff is just too beat up. The records that aren't in great shape but still playable will tend to go in the dollar bin, but then after that, you know, we look through, we visually grade, and then they go in, you probably hear a buzzing in the background, that's our ultrasonic cleaner. So any record we put out above $3 gets ultrasonically cleaned. And then we double check it, visually grade it. I don't play every single record, just because I don't have that many years left in my life. But we do encourage people we have a listening station, so we encourage them, if there's something questionable, throw it on the turntable, just double check. We try to take the best care of them we can, and we try and get the best records we can as far as used records. And we use, you know, Goldmine standard as far as visually grading. We look at the sleeves, we look at the actual record itself, the labels, you know, and obviously condition is king. The better condition will be a higher priced record. So, and we try to be fair, you know. as far as current market value. And there are some records that are super expensive just because of their rarity or the desire for people to want that record. Usually it's rarity. Sometimes you get lucky and find one of those gems in a pile. Those are always fun to come by when you see something. It's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Even now it's cool because I'm seeing records again from when I was a kid, and I'm like, man, I remember my grandmother listening to this or my dad throwing this on, and to be able to go back and take that record and be like, and think of my grandma when she used to put it on her record player. It's just, that's part of why I love physical media, analog and tangible copies you can hold, and it means more to me than just hitting a button. Day to day, driving, a lot of driving to find records, a lot of searching, for garage sales or whatever, or online marketplaces, whatever it be. Just out and about hunting, because the older stuff is that is what it is. They don't make any more of the older stuff unless it's a modern repress, which those are great as well. But the used records, was only so many, and unfortunately a lot of people got rid of them over the years. I know I did. I got rid of my vinyl. It makes me sick to think about that. But now I'm back. Day to day, coming, a lot of times on my day off, I'll come in here. We'll do cleaning. We'll clean up the shop, sort of check the inventory, see where we're at. We do have record store day coming up, so this week is going to be pretty busy for us. We got a lot of records to price, figure out where we're going to move stuff in the store to accommodate the record store day titles we got. Answering phones, answering emails, getting back to people like you that were nice enough to come out and talk to us. We've done a couple newspaper articles. I have a radio interview, so trying to get the word out, and just trying to let people know we're here. And then, looking at equipment, of course, it's not just records. I have to purchase equipment. Sometimes some of the equipment needs to be refurbished or serviced, so I either have to get that to the service guy, or if it's a basic servicing, I do some of that myself. Although my time for doing that has dwindled down a little bit, so I don't do as much servicing on the equipment as I was. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, there's so much. It's more work than I thought. It actually is a lot more work than I thought. Everyone's like, "Oh, you own a record store? It must be, it must be really easy." No, it's not. But I love it, man. I can't think of anything else I'd rather do.
Yeah, it seems like a great job.
It's amazing to be surrounded by people who get excited by music and be around music all day.
Yeah.
I can't ask for anything better. It's awesome. Here's the thing, there's, I don't even know if there's a quantified number for that, but there's millions and millions and millions of songs in the world, records. If you know anyone that has the answer to that, let me know, because, right, so my job is to try and put in the store what people are gonna want. Everyone's, it's so subjective. Everyone's taste, and even, my taste is crazy, because I know a lot of people say this, but I do like almost every kind of music to some point.
Yeah.
I'll take little pieces from here and there, from rap, from metal, from classical, from jazz, from country, from bluegrass. I listen to a lot of stuff. Will I say I'm a fan of all of it entirely? Maybe not, you know what I mean? But I take little pieces, so it's so hard to try and predict what people are going to want, what gets them excited. We do occasionally, we'll see with our distributors what's selling, and we use that to a point, but I don't want to base our business entirely on trends. I mean, it's I think smart to use some of that information, but I don't want to just have everything that's trending in the store, I think I've spent more time trying to find oddball stuff, or stuff that maybe people haven't heard. There's a lot of bands I get turned on to every day, because I'll use like a digital streaming service to, I use it to find a lot of music,
Right.
And I go out and I visit record stores and I'll hunt, I'll hunt through and be like, oh, I never heard of this looks cool. And, you know, so I still shop at other stores. Just because I own a store doesn't mean I'm not out there looking at other stuff for myself. That's a really hard question to answer. The research is, I mean, like I said, use a little bit of what's trending, but then talking to people, communicating with people. Hey, you know, did you hear about this new title? Oh, I never heard of them. Oh, here, check them out. Oh, they're awesome. You know, and then I'll have customers come into me and be like, and friends as well, you know, that say, oh, did you hear these guys? You know, I have a buddy that lives in South Carolina, and we're always, every day we text each other. He's like, here, check these guys out. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, wow, they're awesome, you know, and I'll send him something he hasn't heard, or hope he hasn't heard. But that's part of the excitement too, is trying to share the love and try and turn people on to maybe something they haven't heard.
Right.
You know, and even if they don't like it, you know, but I feel like that's part of my job doing what we do, is to help people find new stuff. You know, it's like there's only so many pre-built playlists and radio stations you can listen to before you're like, okay, I need something new. Like, you know, I need to consume some other kind of music that's refreshing, or
Right.
maybe that's not, you know, top 10. You know, a little more obscure stuff that you're like, whoa, like that, you know, and that's how I find a lot of music, is I go out of my way to look for bands that nobody's ever heard of. And I always try to give them a shot. You know, some of it you know, and I'm not trying to put down anyone's craft, but some of it I can't stand. You know, I would never listen to a whole record, but a lot of it I love. And I'm like, wow, I didn't expect I would like that, you know. It's cool. And lately it seems like, because I'm hearing a lot of different styles of music and customers are recommending stuff for me to listen to, I'm hearing a lot more than I have. I'm getting way out of my typical comfort zone with stuff I'm used to. And I'm consuming a lot more music that normally I maybe wouldn't, but I always try to look at it with, you know, an open mind and be like, yeah, let me give it a listen. So, very hard question to answer. Do what I can to try and figure out what people are going to want, you know,
Yeah.
or what's exciting. You know, artwork, that plays into it a little bit too. I hate to say that, you know, the music may not even be great, but and I do have some people that come in and will buy a record just for the artwork, not even knowing who it is or what it sounds like. They're just like, this is awesome, you know. And like I said, I've done that. I've bought a record solely based on artwork. You know, sometimes you're like, yes, and it's great when it winds up being an awesome record. Not so great when it's not, but you know, whatever. And a lot of people now, like, record walls are becoming real popular, where, okay, maybe that's not your favorite record, but the artwork is super dope, hanging on the wall, you know? So I have a lot of people that tell me they do that as well. But yeah, hard to figure out what everybody wants. Yeah, and I never will be able to satisfy everybody. Because every time I think, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, we got a pretty good selection for a small store. And someone's like, do you have? And I'm like, never heard of them. Which is also awesome, because there's so much music that I'm getting turned on to that, you know, I don't, never heard of that band, but let me look them up, you know, and I wind up listening. So it's really, I'm enjoying the hell out of that, because I get turned on to a lot of stuff that maybe I don't know. So I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.